You ever see a grown woman chain herself to the wrong gate and call it defending the community? Because let me tell you, that's exactly how my morning started the day Brenda Lofton lost her mind in public in, well, her job too. I'm not talking about some goofy prank or a petty neighborhood squablino. This was a full-blown HOA meltdown, the kind that starts with a lanyard and a clipboard and ends with a tow truck driver nervously asking, is this really part of my job description? Picture this dawn creeping over Willow Trace, a subdivision that tries way too hard with its fake stone entry signs and perfectly identical craftsman homes. Quiet as a church until you hear the sound of Brenda rattling a chain and yelling, I refuse to recognize this barrier. She's wrapped up in a floral cardigan, HOA badge swinging, arms looped through the steel bars of my brand new farm gate like she's auditioning for a protest documentary. And me? I'm just sitting there, ball cap pulled low, coffee in hand, feet kicked up in a folding camp chair, watching it all unfold front row to the circus. Across that gate, 40 acres of pine and pasture stretch out behind me, not a soul bothered by any of this except, well, everyone in the gravel driveway. We've got 2 sheriff's deputies, a county surveyor folding up his tripod, a code enforcement guy awkwardly shifting his weight, and Brenda putting on her best one-woman Broadway show. Oh, and a tow truck idling nearby, engine rumbling like even it's bored with this drama. Ma'am, the deputy says for the 5th time, this gate's on his private property. Your HOA has no jurisdiction here. Brenda just shakes the chain harder. This road is the entrance to Willow Trace. It's community access. That gate is a psychological threat. And I just take another sip of coffee, thinking, lady, it's just steel. Get a grip. County surveyor points at the map. The psychological threat ends 6 feet before that gate, right at the HOA boundary. The deputy turns to me, deadpan, Mr. Hale, do you want to press charges for trespass and vandalism? I glance at the busted old lock and the bolt cutters lying in the dust Brenda's handiwork, right there on display. Oh yeah, I say, let's definitely talk about that. Now, let me back up a sec because 3 months ago, I was the most boring man in Willow Trace. I mean, I was an IT consultant, worked from home, drove a Tacoma covered in honest dust, owned exactly 2 lawn ornaments, a Krusty Bird bath, and a solar light that only worked on Thursdays. Bought the last house on the cul-de-sac, the one with nothing but woods, deer, and sketchy Wi-Fi out back. My hobbies? Tinkering with tools in the garage, walking the tree lean at dusk, and not talking strangers, which shockingly made me public enemy number 1 to the HOA president. Enter Brenda Lofton, self-appointed guardian of curb appeal, serial laminator, queen of the mini clipboard. She wore that president badge like a badge of honor even while taking out the trash. Willow Trace was one of those places obsessed with the word charm. I swear, the newsletter used it 6 times per issue. I read the rules before moving in. Sure, they were no parking on grass, no RVs in driveways, must have beige paint, whatever, but nothing I couldn't live with. Didn't matter. Brenda found me within a week. You have an unapproved shade of mulch, she announced, squinting at my flower bed like it had insulted her family. It's brown, I told her. It's pine straw. The guidelines recommend hardwood bark for a uniform aesthetic. I shrugged. Came with the house. She pursed her lips. You want to be more proactive than the last owner, Marcus. Willow Trace has standards. I nodded, said thanks, and went right back to minding my own business until the for sale sign went up on the 40-acre parcel behind the fence. See, that land had been part of the original farm way before Willow Trace. 40 acres of scruffy pines, a lazy creek, a barn leaning like it had had a rough night developer wanted it bad, but the old farmer had said no, put it in his will. No sale to the HOA, no sale to the developer, period. When the farmer's kids finally let it go, they sold it to me. Quietly, I marked the lines with the county surveyor and just stood there, evening breeze in my face, thinking I'll put a shop back here, maybe a garden, definitely locking this gate. Only road access was this old gravel lane along the back of Willow Trace half on the subdivision plat. Half and everything beyond mine. Had a contractor widen it, lay new gravel, and put up a heavy steel farm gate right where my property started. Welded a sign on it, private land. No HOA jurisdiction. Yes, really. Meant it as a joke. Brenda took it as a declaration of war. The email started. Dear Mr. Hale, Willow Trace does not permit gates at the community entrance without approval. Remove the barrier within 7 days or face fines. I replied once, politely attached the county map with a nice red circle showing the line. Hi, Brenda. Gates on my land, outside HOA. No approval needed. Have a good one. Her next email, no pleasantries. You are creating a hostile visual environment at our entrance. This is unacceptable. The board will proceed with enforcement. And then violation letters. Unauthorized structure, curb appeal violation, threatening signage. Apparently no HOA jurisdiction is threatening now. I ignored them. Brenda wasn't having it. Started telling neighbors I was building a compound. Warned parents not to let kids near the gate like it was radioactive. Called code enforcement they came. Looked at the map, shrugged, and left. County planning office? Same story. She even left a handwritten note in the chain links. This energy is very aggressive. Willow Trace is about community, not barriers. I pinned it to the fridge, right next to a coupon for 2-for-1 pizza. Then one morning, I find the gate hanging open, lock cut, tire tracks in the gravel. They lead straight to my barn where someone stuck a laminated sign. Future site of Willow Trace Community Green Belt Expansion. I stood there, reading that, feeling something cold settle behind my ribs. All right, we're done playing. Called the sheriff. Deputies came, took photos, shook their heads, said unless I had a camera, there wasn't much to do. So I bought 2 trail cams, aimed them at the gate, and put a lock on there that'd make a bolt cutter cry. Then I waited. Meanwhile, Brenda's going full Shakespeare. The next HOA newsletter announces a future green belt expansion to better integrate our community with a natural area, with a map coloring my land in cheerful green. Little footnote. Finalization pending legal review. There was no review, just Brenda's imagination and a color printer. She tried to schedule nature walks down my lane. I shut them down with 2-word emails. Private property. Every no made her twitcher. So, naturally, she started lying to higher-ups. Called county zoning, claimed I was illegally storing hazardous stuff. I had 1 tractor and an offended owl. Called the fire marshal, claimed my gate blocked emergency vehicles. Animal control said she saw livestock neglect via satellite. Nothing stuck. Then Brenda went hands-on. Trail cam catches her white crossover pulling up, bolt cutters in hand, new lock snipped, her and 2 board members rolling down my lane, slapping another Willow Trace green belt access sign on my barn. The cameras got all date time, license plate, her face, the whole parade. I forwarded the footage to the sheriff's office. Detective watches it on my laptop. Criminal trespass, criminal mischief for the lock, attempted land grab if she's using the HOA. He pauses on Brenda's mug. You mind if we share this with the county attorney? Be my guest. The knock comes at 7:30 the next morning. Brenda steps out with her clipboard smile plastered on. Good morning, officers. Is this about the illegal gate? Ma'am, you're under arrest for criminal trespass and criminal mischief. The smile dies mid-syllable. They read her rights with half of Willow Trace, peeking from behind the blinds like it's neighborhood theater. Brenda gets booked, processed, released on bond, stomping around ranting about community business. County attorney isn't buying it. Trail cam footage, newsletters, Greenbelt Mappa, clear story. HOA president trying to annex private land with intimidation and vandalism. County Civil Division digs into the records, sees the HOA's boundary stops right at my gate. No easement across my land. Zero legal basis for the Greenbelt claim. Then they notice Brenda using HOA funds and letterhead for her fantasy project. They proceed with the criminal case and urge the board to get their own lawyer fast. The HOA board had just been Brenda's rubber stamp annex. Emergency meeting. I'm required to attend because, well, my property is center stage. HOA attorney tired guy, neat suit spells it out. Your president trespassed, damaged the gate, tried to use HOA power over land you don't own. You're exposed to serious liability. Someone squeaks, but she said she was wrong. The attorney says flat. And you went along. Step 1. Remove her as president. Immediately. Now picture the town, courtroom small, fluorescent, packed. News travels fast. HOA president on trial over neighbor's gate. Even folks who don't live in Willow Trace come to watch. I'm sitting second row with my lawyer. Brenda at the defense table, jaw clenched, blazer just a shade off the HOA logo. Prosecutor plays the trail cam footage. Brenda, larger than life, bolt cutters raised like she's storming the Bastille. Lock gets snipped, sign goes up. Judge is stone-faced. Mrs. Lofton, did you have permission to enter Mr. Hale's land? As HOA president, I'm responsible for community access points and amenities. Judge arches a brow. Was his land part of the HOA? Not officially, but visually integrated. And so, that's a no. You didn't have permission. Her lawyer tries spinning it as a boundary misunderstanding. Judge isn't buying. Boundary misunderstandings don't usually involve bolt cutters, he deadpants. Reporters are scribbling in the hallway. Judge doesn't send Brenda to jail, but gives the harshest HOA sentence I've ever seen guilty on criminal trespass and mischief. $3,500 in fines, $800 for damages, 1 year of probation, mandatory property rights, and conflict classes. And then Judge hammers it home. Given the pattern of behavior, this court prohibits Mrs. Lofton from serving in any HOA, condo board, or similar entity in this county for the duration of her probation. You could feel the air get sucked out of her. Her face went red, then white, then purple. She just stood there, mouth opening and closing, nothing coming out, whole identity gone in a single sentence. Judge's gavel falls. Brenda slumps into her chair, staring at nothing. The Guardian of Willow Trace, title stripped away. Funny thing is, after all the drama, that steel gate's still there quiet, unbothered, just doing its job like me. So, here's the question: where's the line between protecting the community and just plain bullying? Is there ever a good reason for an HOA to cross onto someone's land, clip a lock, slap up a sign, call it for the good of the neighborhood? Or does there come a point where it's just one person's power trip gone way too far? Anyway, drop your thoughts below. Ever tangled with an HOA president like Brenda? Let's hear your stories, where you're watching from, what you'd have done different, or if you think I went too easy on her. And hey, if you want more wild tales of HOA karma, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe, share your own HOA nightmares, and let's keep the conversation rolling.